to throw. Got time over the middle. Camarillo's got it. 40.
He might
30.
score.
He may go the distance.
He's going in.
The Bobby Dolphins have
Like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the...
Hey, Dolphin fans, welcome back to another edition of Miami Dolphins FinCast. I am your host, Marco DeGeorge, and as always, I'm here with Maya Angel.
Hi, guys. What's up?
This week, we are going to review the lovely game against the Browns, our home opener, as well as looking ahead to our Thursday night matchup against the Bengals. We'll also review news around the NFL, other Dolphin news, and we will give you our picks of the week. But we're going to start off with the week in review.
The week in review.
I guess the word lovely is one way to put this. We did finally win our first game. The score was 30-24. Wow, we actually put up 30 points on the board. Would you look at that?
We did. We put up 30 points. I mean, it wasn't easy, but we did.
So, interestingly enough, this game went into overtime.
Overtime against the Browns at home. I don't know how I feel about that.
There's definitely a lot of feelings mixed. And, you know, even though we won, this is probably one of the saddest wins I think that there are possibly could ever be. I mean, what did we watch?
I don't know. Because Seattle, you know, we went into the Seattle game, and I'm like, okay, we don't really have much of a chance because Seattle's great and Dolphins are, you know, we don't know what they are yet.
Dolphins are Dolphins.
Dolphins are Dolphins. But we competed, and we were like, oh, my God, we're in this game. And there was some hope there. And we came out of Seattle thinking, all right, we lost that game, but there's still hope going into the next game. And then the next game was New England. But New England, we got routed in the first half, but there was still this hope coming back in the second half because we came back. And we down to the last play in the game, we had a chance there. So again, it was I had some things to pull away from this. Here's a game we won, and I don't know what to think about it.
Hope is such a fleeting feeling.
Because we should have lost that game.
No, yes, absolutely. And you know, I think what really set the tone was Tannehill throwing that interception on the second play of the game.
That one.
Once I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to be a really bumpy ride from here on out. And, you know, it really was. There was some good things offensively. I can't deny it. There were some good things. You know, some of our wide receivers played really well. We managed to get over 100 rushing yards. Go us.
All right. So, I mean, there's something.
Yeah, a lot of injuries. Defense looked really weird. Interestingly enough, we had some issues with our O-line. Adam Gase actually benched Juwan James after he allowed a strip sack late in the regulation. And, you know, I think this was a good idea because that sack from Tannehill that allowed the ball to turn over and for the Browns to have possession, it led them to a field goal, which would have, late in the game, it would have let the Browns take the leading score. And here they are, and they missed the field goal. And this is interesting, right? Because, again, like you said, we shouldn't have won this game. And I think the reason why we didn't win this game is because I think the Browns wanted to lose more than we did. They had 3 missed field goals. I mean, that would have been so. We wouldn't have gone into overtime. They would have won the game. We would have lost to the Browns. So, honestly, they did it to themselves.
They did. I kind of feel for the Browns because this is life of a Browns fan, but they came to play. I got to give the Browns credit. They have a lot going on. They're down to a rookie quarterback starting. They have a lot of injuries. I mean, they have a lot of issues on this team. Yet they came and they played hard and matched up well. They schemed well against us, and just the one-on-one matchups they won all day long. You know, the missed field goals. You know, they lost their regular kicker. About a week ago, earlier in the week, and they had to sign somebody. They had to make a choice of who to sign temporarily to take over field goal duties, and so unfortunately, signing a replacement kicker late in the week, didn't have time to practice with the team or do much warm up. So you're kicking out there cold. That was very fortunate for the Fins. I mean, if we're playing another team or if we're playing with a veteran kicker, we lose that game.
Oh, we would have lost it completely.
Yeah, I mean, we would have, so, and there was a couple times, there was 3 missed kicks, so there was a couple times for us to lose that game. So we shouldn't have won that game. Now, a win is a win in this league, and you take it. You take a win any way you get it, because any given Sunday, any team can win. So we'll take the win, but this game exposed probably the most holes in this team than I think the Patriots game or the Seattle game. I have more concerns coming out of the Browns game than I have all season.
Yeah, I definitely do. It looked bad. I mean, Ryan Tannehill had 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick 6. He was getting hit a lot. He looked really messy behind the line. We didn't have a solid running back. Those 100 yards, while we still got them, it wasn't from one single back. There was Kenyon Drake was taking a lot of the snaps, but so was Damian Williams. It just seemed very messy, kind of like Adam Gase was experimenting. But when is the experimentation going to stop?
Yeah, Jay Ajayi took some snaps, and then Isaiah Peed was in there too. So 4 running backs we had doing that, let alone you had, Tannehill did a couple designed runs, and there was a reverse with Landry. Everybody was getting involved in the running game. So it was really, they say running back by committee. This really was a full running game by committee. And I'm waiting to see. I don't know what this offense is. I don't know what the offense is.
Right, because when you look at other teams, like, for example, when the Seattle Seahawks had Marshawn Lynch, he took almost every single snap, and they had amazing success with their run game. 2 years ago when DeMarco Murray was with the Cowboys, he took every single snap. He was there the entire game. He played the full 60 minutes, and they had an amazing run game. And I'm not sure how well this running by committee is working for us. I really would like to see somebody take a lot more than, I would like to see somebody rise up to the plate. And I'm looking at Kenyon Drake, and I'm seeing something out of him. He had 37 yards for 9 carries. He averaged about 4.1 yards. Now, he didn't get a touchdown, but I saw something out of him. He had the most yards, and he had the most snaps.
There was a toughness out of him. There was a spark that I think I saw in him as he was running that I wanted to see more. And then in the next series, Damian Williams is in there. It's like, okay. And then the next series, Isaiah Peed, and then so it's like, wait, where's Kenyon? He needs to get back in there. I want to see more of what he's doing. Running back by committee, the concept behind it is that you don't want to wear down any one back. You want to keep your backs fresh, so you rotate them through, and then every time they go in there, they're fresh. The problem is, fresh also means tight to me. It's, a lot of running backs will say, you know what, I need the first 10 or 12 carries just to get going.
Right, you got to get yourself used to the game.
To get into a groove. And then once you're in the groove, then they're oiled up, they're loose, they're ready to go. And so they want more carries. They want 18, 20, 24 carries a game. And this running back by committee, they're not getting it.
Hey, you know what? You bring up a good point that actually kind of just lit a light bulb in my head. We have a lot of issues offensively with rhythm and consistency. And, a lot of the times we blame it on Tannehill, and, I do it myself too, but maybe this running back by committee is not helping that, because we're constantly changing the rhythm. Each player has a different type of rhythm. They're not going to run the same as the last player. So here you're having Kenyon Drake, and he's doing pretty good. And it's like all of a sudden you put in Damian Williams, you're changing the rhythm. You don't have anything, like you said, they can't get oiled up. And we're seeing that a lot. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Oh, I think so. I think consistency is important. We need that. A couple of years ago, the Patriots, I don't remember the specifics of what year, but I remember the Patriots went through something where they were having some trouble on their offensive line. They couldn't get their running game going, and Brady was under a lot of pressure. And it was for a span of like 6 games. And during those 6 games, Brady looked horrible. And there was all this talk at the time of, is Brady's time done, and do you replace him, and this, all the ridiculousness of that. So nobody is above that for happening. But the point is, when the offensive line is not working and you don't have a solid running game, even the best quarterbacks look bad, because you can't put all the pressure on them when the defense knows you're going to pass and they can put pressure on you. It's not going to work.
Right, because offense works by passing and rushing. It's the combination of the both. You can't have one favor on one more heavily than the other, because like you said, then it's so much easier for the defense to pick us apart, because then we become more predictable.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, we put a lot of blame on Tannehill. We've yet to see Tannehill perform behind a solid offensive line and with a running game. And I don't think there's a quarterback in the league
that could do that.
Yeah, without a solid offensive line and a running game. Because the best quarterbacks, look at New Orleans right now. Breeze, while he's still putting up a lot of numbers, they're struggling and they're losing.
Yeah.
They're losing games because he's getting hit a lot. Andy Dalton, who we're going to face this week, is getting sacked a lot. So there's you have to be able to have balance in this league. And the teams that have that, Seattle right now. Seattle, without Marshawn Lynch, without having that really powerful running game that they used to have.
And they always struggled with their O-line too.
They're struggling to put points on the board. So you need that. Andrew Luck in Indy, they don't have balance anymore, and it's like, wow, what happened to Andrew Luck? And now there's all this question. Well, what is Andrew Luck as good as we thought he was?
Right.
Well, any quarterback, it's not a single person's game. It's not a quarterback's game. And yes, they need to be solid, but it's been proven over and over in this league that you can win in this league and you can win a Super Bowl in this league with an average quarterback if you have a running game and if you have a solid defense.
Right. So on the flip side of this coin, if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, right now they have this rookie quarterback, Dak Prescott, in. And I'm not saying that Dak Prescott isn't good and he's not performing well, because no, I'm not saying that. I think that he's doing an outstanding job. But he has an amazing and solid O-line in front of him. And I think it shows because he's so confident and poised under center. And I wish we had that in Miami.
Plus, you have Ezekiel Elliott, who's running the ball really well. He's getting better game by game. And yeah, he has. And Dak Prescott has a lot of time to throw the ball. And so, just as you're watching all the different games, any quarterback that's under pressure, probably with the exception of Aaron Rodgers, who looks good no matter what he's doing. But even Aaron Rodgers, when you put enough pressure on him, makes mistakes.
Absolutely.
Tom Brady makes mistakes. The Peyton Manning last year,
he made a couple of mistakes.
Did not look too good, but thankfully he was on a Denver team. So that's what really saved him. He was on Denver.
He had C.J. Anderson, which is an amazing running back, and that defense. Oh my God, Von Miller and Aqib Talib, they basically tore apart any opponent that came their way.
Best defense in the league, and with that wins championships, which is what they did last year. So again, coming back to this Dolphin game against the Browns, I don't know. The blame is not on Tanny for this. It's not. I really believe that he is progressing. I'm seeing some new things out of him. The touchdown pass to Parker was beautiful.
Absolutely.
That was a perfect play. It was a perfect pass. It was a great catch. All of a sudden, when I saw that one play, I'm thinking, all right, now we have this. We're really starting to put things together. But then when we don't have a running game after that, we lose downs too. So we come out on first down, we run the ball, we get a yard. Well, now it's 2nd and 9. It's like, well, what do? Well, we try to run it again, we get another yard or two. Well, now it's 3rd and 7. So we keep getting ourselves into that. So if we come out and we pass first, second, third down, that doesn't necessarily work either. Because what I'm seeing from the Dolphins is they're trying to use the short passing game to make up for the lack of a running game. They're doing the wide receiver screens. They're doing, dump off passes to running backs, and really what that means, these behind the line of scrimmage passes or these 1 yard passes, it's trying to make up for a lack of a running game. And in the end, we need a running game.
And I think that but I think that if Gase and the offensive coordinator took a chance and maybe had Kenyon Drake take a lot more snaps in the first half just to get him used to the game, I think that we would actually see something effective, something productive.
Well, on the opposite side of the ball, take a look at what the Browns did to the Dolphins. They committed to the running game, and they were running against us.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty bad. I'll talk about the stats later in my Fins Down, just a heads up, but it was really bad.
And so now we have New England where we have Seattle and then New England in these games where it's like, okay, we have to stop the run, and we can't.
And if any team watches us on film to get prepared to play us, they're going to know this. I have no doubt in my mind that the defensive coordinator for the Bengals has already everything. I'm sorry, not defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator has it all figured out to exploit us on our run defense.
It's concerning. So basically what I'm saying out there, Dolphin fans, is that let's not place all the blame on Tanny. He cannot save this alone. Without a running game, without a balanced offense, or at least even a slightly off-balanced offense, we're not going to be able to progress. And so Tannehill's not the problem right now. He's not the problem. He's not the magic quarterback that's going to fix it either, but he's not the problem. So we need to find that running back, and I would love to see a heavy dose to Kenyon Drake. Absolutely. I think I want to see more of him right now, and just to see what he can do. I mean, we might find out that he can't, but let's
at least
find
let's
out.
See. Yeah.
Let's give him a chance and find out. And then let's see what happens, because the running game will open up the passing game, but not a failed running game. We need to get more than a yard or two a carry. We have to be able to run the ball. So we put a lot of stock in Kenyon Drake when we drafted him. I want to see what the kid can do.
On a good note, Jay Ajayi decided to show up and play today. Well, not today, on Sunday. He had the winning touchdown in overtime. So even though he's been pretty non-existent in these last 3 games, hey, he won the game for us.
I was so happy to see that we won the game on a running play. And it was a well-designed play. It was blocked. It was executed and blocked so well. And it's like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need more of this.
And I bet it made him feel really good.
Yeah. I want to see more execution out of Jay Ajayi too. I don't know. There's a big question mark with me for him. I don't know where he is or what type of runner he is. Arian Foster, whenever he gets back, I don't think Arian Foster's an every down back anymore, nor do I think we should use him like that. I think he's a third down back. I think we should use him for his specialty, which is catching the ball out of the backfield. I think that's going to be his thing. I think we need to find another workhorse back. So I don't know what Jay Ajayi can do. I don't know what Isaiah Pede can do, Damian Williams. But right now I want to see Kenyon Drake.
I 100% agree with you.
All right, let's kind of move on to our Fins Up and Fins Down.
Fins Up, Fins Down.
All right, Maya, who is your Fins Up for the week?
My Fins Up for the week is wide receiver Jarvis Landry. He is a very passionate player, and because of that, he tends to make mistakes like that excessive celebration penalty he had for his touchdown. But by God, is he so passionate, and you can just see it because when he runs, there's power to it, and when he catches the ball, there's power to it, and you know that he's there to play, like he's not there to mess around. His stats don't lie. He's 7 for 120 yards, and he's averaging about 17.1 yards. Fun fact, he's actually tying with Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown for league lead in receptions, and then he's also third in league in receiving yards with 314 yards. So he's putting up really amazing stats right now so early in the season, and I'm hoping that he can stay consistent because I think he's a big key to this game, especially for the Dolphins. We put a lot of stock into him, and if he can keep playing like this every single game, I think he'll have a lot to do with when we win and when we lose.
What I would love to see is I want to see more productivity from the other wide receivers, so it opens up Jarvis Landry even more. And it's because we don't have a very productive offense right now, and even with a kind of a very vanilla, it feels vanilla offense right now, Jarvis Landry's lighting it up, and he's doing a great job.
An amazing job. I mean, his stats do not lie.
And he has that passion. I love his passion. I really do. I wish the other players had half the passion that he did. When he comes out, I mean, he's just he's just got so much energy. He tries so hard, and sometimes he tries a little too hard, and it either gets us a penalty or sometimes that little extra effort. We had a fumble from him, but I love how hard he works in the game, and I want to see Devontae Parker work that hard.
That would be amazing.
Because if to me, if Devontae Parker put even a percentage of what Landry puts into working every play, I think he would be an amazing receiver. But we need that. We need everyone knows we're going to Landry. That's Tannehill's looking for Landry. So to take the pressure off of him, the other receivers need to step up. But I like what I'm seeing from Landry this year.
So who was your fins up for the week?
Well, my fins up is Rashad Jones. Rashad he is playing awesome. He is, already after 3 games, to me, he's playing at a Pro Bowl level because he's just...
Again, mind you.
Yeah, he's lighting it up. He's somebody on the defense that is putting 100% into every play. And I'm seeing a lack of energy on the defense as a whole. I'm not seeing players enthused, in playing with that little extra level. When you have that passion, when you're playing with a deep passion, there's this little extra spark that you see. And I'm not seeing it in all the players right now, on offense or defense. But there are certain players that I do see it in. We talked about Landry and Jones. I am seeing that. And man, I remember sitting there, watching the Browns game and just saying, saying that, hey, right now, come on, Jones, we need you to make a play, and he makes a play. Yeah, and so it's awesome. I love how he's playing. I want to see his passion kind of spread out to the other players, and hopefully they'll learn from him. But man, he is playing lights out right now.
I mean, yeah, he's putting up amazing stats. Right now, he's 4th in the league for amount of tackles. Also, another fun fact, Kiko Alonso is also 6th in the league for amount of tackles. So we're actually not doing too bad in tackles.
So hopefully we will see that continue, and I want to see Jones just keep lighting it up week in and week out. And I love when I love when we use him on a safety blitz. It's one of my favorite things to watch is when Jones goes in after the quarterback on a safety blitz.
Oh, and he normally ends up hitting them too.
He does. It's fun to watch. All right, who's your fins down for the week?
My fins down is the run defense. I hate to say it, but the defensive line allowed 169 rushing yards to the Browns. You know what this makes us? You know what this makes the Dolphins? We are now the 2nd worst in the league in run defense. Me as a Dolphins fan, I don't want to be known as a 2nd worst team in the league for run defense. We need to... I don't know what we need to do, but we need to do something because I'm getting frustrated having to say this every single week. And if I have to keep saying it, I'm going to keep saying it because they are my fins down. But something needs to change. And I'm very disappointed in the way that our defensive line is playing when it comes to the run.
Yeah, right now I think we might actually be number 32 in the league. Because after the Monday night game with New Orleans and the Falcons, I think New Orleans was number 32. We were number 31, and I think after that game, we flip-flopped with them.
Oh, at least we're winning at something.
So, yeah, we need to do something. And it's now watching Cameron Wake play more. He was playing on 1st down and 2nd down this game. I liked what I was seeing there. I think Wake needs to be used a lot. We can't be conserving Wake because right now there's nothing to conserve him for. We need to have him in there early downs. We need to set the tone. If anything, if we ever get to the point where the Dolphins are putting up a substantial lead, then you can rest Wake. Until we get to that point, play him every down. I want to see him as a power defensive end. Just like I want to see Kenyon Drake as a power back. I mean, we need to put the focus on the players that are our star players. Sue needs to be in there all the time. Williams needs to be in there all the time. Wake needs to be in there all the time. We need our star players in there. And then I don't know what the issue is with the running game. Is it the wide 9 defense? So is it a scheme? Is it that our players just aren't as good as we think they are?
I don't think that's it. I can't possibly believe that players like Cameron Wake, Ndamukong Suh, and Mario Williams can't execute because of their potential. I won't believe it. They're amazing players. I don't understand what's going on.
So maybe it's a scheme thing. Then maybe it's execution, and might be the type of defense we're playing. I'm not too sure. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe it's our linebackers, but there's definitely a problem because we're seeing a problem now 3 weeks in a row that when teams need to run against us, they do, and we have trouble stopping it. Even when we know they're running the ball, they know they're running the ball, and we can't stop it. There's a problem.
Yeah, and they say defense wins championships, but defense also wins regulation games. So defense, thank you. We need to win. So who is your fins down for the week?
Well, I'm going to give my fins down to the offensive line.
Awesome.
The offensive line took a step back for me this week, and it was interesting because you had mentioned it before. Gase came out, and he was saying that he's putting pressure on all of his players. He was really speaking to the line, but it was all of his players saying you have to be out there playing hard and executing, or you're going to be benched, essentially. And I like that tone that he's setting. Now, it's possible that taking that approach is going to hurt us this season, but truthfully, I'd rather see that and help us long-term than take the approach that, we have to play him just because. So he benched Juwan James. I like that. I like the message it sends. It says you're not out there, if you're not playing hard, if you're not doing the job that we need you to do, we're going to find someone else to do it. And while it may hurt us in the short term, so be it. We're going to find players that want to play for us. And the offensive line needs help. And the offensive line has been a problem for years. And Tannehill has yet to have a decent offensive line to play behind. And we're never going to figure out what type of quarterback he is until we have a decent line and a decent running game. Not even a great running game. Give me a decent running game. Give me the ability to run the ball occasionally. Right now, we don't have that. The offensive line looked horrific. Tannehill was under pressure again, a lot of pressure. He's getting a lot better getting rid of the ball, which I like. He's getting a lot better, faster process, faster checkdowns. He throws it away. He scrambles more, so I like that aspect of it. But man, if you just watch how many times he gets hit, he might not be getting sacked a lot, but he's getting hit a lot.
And that'll mess with your mind.
Of course, you're playing scared. And again, and any quarterback in the league, if you're getting hit play after play after play, it messes with you. It's difficult to play at a high level when you can't trust the people in front of you. And again, there was the strip sack that happened, late in the game, and we almost lost the game because of it.
Yeah, and that was all on Juwan James. So it's kind of funny because I like you said, I do like this approach of Adam Gase. I kind of see him as like the disciplinary dad because he did the same thing with Jay Ajayi. Like, you were late, you're not coming to the game with us. Other running backs, Isaiah Pete and Damian Williams, you missed the meeting. Oh, you're not going to, I think he said he was like, you're not going to practice or you're not going to, there was something that he limited them from. Do you remember?
They didn't play.
Oh, yeah.
They were inactive for the New England game.
Right. That's what it was. They didn't play. So he doesn't fool around. When he says something, he means it.
And I like that. That's the tone we need. That's what we thought we were going to get when Philbin came down here, and we didn't. We didn't get that hard-nosed approach, that the coach that we needed, that disciplinarian that we needed. We need someone that's going to bring this team together. Right now, I feel that they're fragmented. I don't feel they're together as a team. I don't feel there's the camaraderie that you see in other teams. And we need that.
Yeah, I remember saying that during the game, that watching the Dolphins play is very different than watching, I don't know, the Green Bay Packers play or the Dallas Cowboys play. Like, there's a sense of friendship and something even more intimate than that. They trust each other with the ball, and they trust each other that together they can go out there and then play and they can win. And I just don't feel that same sense of trust with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, and we see that around the league. We see, and you were talking about this earlier too, about you just see players coming together and hanging out and forming friendships and tight bonds. We see it with the Chiefs. I always see that the Chiefs always standing together and being together, and so together they play hard as well. With the Dolphins, it seems like it's almost like it's a collection of journeymen where I don't know, they're not playing hard for each other.
Yeah, there's no togetherness. It's not like, hey, I got your back. There's not that feeling when you watch the Dolphins.
And so that still may be splintered from the Philbin era. It's going to take a couple years for Gase to really pull it together. But I like the approach that I'm seeing in him so far, and I want to see him continue this. Again, even if it means we lose a couple games because he's going to bench somebody, I'm fine with that. If in the long term we get the team turned in the right direction, and because that's what the Patriots had to do. Way back when the Patriots started, when Belichick came in, he had to kind of turn the ship. And to do that, he had to upset a lot of people and, including fans and so forth. But in order to put the ship in the right direction, he had to do that. And look at where they are still today because of the type of coach that he is. And he is the disciplinarian as well. I want to see Gase do the same thing. Don't
we all wish we had a Bill Belichick in our lives?
I'm still holding out hope for Adam Gase. I like what I'm seeing so far.
No,
this is so early. He wasn't. We all knew he wasn't going to fix this right away. I mean, you just can't. He's not.
Yeah,
we don't have the players right now.
The talk of some of these fans saying that they should already fire him, and it's like, whoa, slow your horses. You can't expect a head coach to come in here, pick up all the crap off the floor and give you brand new clean floors. Like, no, it's got to take time.
It works both ways, right? If you have a great coach that you're following, I remember when Jimmy Johnson left the Cowboys. I mean, the next 2 years after that, they went to the Super Bowl, and it was, and everyone's like, oh, okay, well, look how great the Cowboys are now. Well, no, it was what did Jimmy Johnson lead up to? Well, the same thing is good and bad. We have a mess that was left by Philbin, an absolute disaster. And so, coming in and doing a cleanup effort, it takes a while. We can't just have somebody come in and say, oh, okay, look at all these broken pieces. Let me see if I can put them together and make something strong. It's going to take some time. And as fans, we have to have patience with that, but we have to make sure that we're supporting Gase for the things he's doing well. He's a rookie coach. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have time management issues. I understand that. He's going to make bad play calls. He's going to go for it on fourth down sometimes when he shouldn't. He's learning. He's learning. But I'm seeing a lot of good things out of him. I like how he's handling the players. I like how he's handling the other coaches. I like that he takes responsibility for what's going on. There really seems to be a very strong work ethic coming from him. So there's a lot of things that I like that I'm seeing. We have to give it a little time. Let's see where this season goes. And then, and of course, then we'll see what happens next season. But he deserves at least a couple years to get this turned around.
Don't you just love football? There's always going to be next seasons.
Yeah, I don't want to look there quite yet, though. There's still this season. All right, well, let's move on to the latest news.
Latest news.
Well, this comes as a shock to me, but there are 16 injured Dolphin players. We got really beat up against the Browns. Would you believe that?
That's a lot.
Yeah. The players that did not practice on Monday are tight end Jordan Cameron. He got a concussion during the game, so he did not practice, and he also will not play on Thursday with the Bengals. Wide receiver Jarvis Landry has a shoulder injury. He did not practice. I'm hoping that they haven't released any information on who is playing or who is not besides Jordan Cameron and Anthony Steen.
No, they actually have.
Oh, they have?
Yep. The 4 players have been deemed out against the Bengals. Koamisi is out, Mike Pouncey is out, Arian Foster and Jordan Cameron are out. Center Anthony Steen is doubtful.
Okay.
And left tackle Brendan Albert is questionable.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of that's a lot of offensive line. I mean, we're talking about Mike Pouncey, Anthony Steen, Brendan Albert. I mean, that's a major part of our line that is out. They also, because of all this, because we have so many injured players, they waived wide receiver Justin Hunter.
Oh, we never got to see what he could do.
We never did, but they needed to make room on the roster, so they waived him. Most likely, they're going to call up another offensive lineman, like a Jamil Douglas or something. We're going to call somebody else
joy.
up. Well, we need somebody. I mean, we've just lost. We have 3 injured offensive linemen, so they're going to need to bring up somebody else to fill one of those spots for the game.
So with Mike Pouncey out, and then we put in Anthony Steen. Now that he's out, we have moved Craig Urbick, who's a guard, into the center. And there was a couple high snaps during the Browns game, so I'm hoping that even in this short week, he's been able to take some practices and get that together.
I'm pretty sure he took the majority of the snaps this week because, Steen hasn't been practicing, Pouncey's not practicing. So, and not only they have Urbick, but they've been practicing a couple other players there too. They're preparing for a case where they have to move the line around. This is one of these weeks where we may see players in and out of different positions. Who knows? If Juwan James is back on the good list, we may see him move over to left tackle.
Adam Gase did say that he is going to start during the Bengals game.
But where is he going to start? Is he going to start at right tackle, his normal spot, or is he going to move over to left tackle with Albert out? So there's a lot of things. Now, if Albert plays, it's not a problem. He's questionable. He said it's going to be a game-time decision. If Albert's out, that's a big deal. Or do we move Laramie Tunstall over? Is it possible that he moves over to tackle, which is his natural position, and we bring somebody else in? So there's a lot of questions coming into this offensive line for this game.
Well, that's kind of making my head spin.
It's musical chairs for the offensive line. The offensive line that was already on my FinsDown list has even more holes and problems with it.
Oh, joy. So my second Dolphin news, which I actually very, very like. This is very heartwarming. Rookie wide receiver Jakeem Grant from Texas Tech is actually being featured on NFL's Undrafted. Now, this is interesting because he is the first player in show history who has been drafted. He was drafted in the 6th round. He was picked up by Miami. But they're featuring him in Undrafted. And the reason that they're doing this is because he was not invited into the combine in Indianapolis. Nobody thought anybody was going to pick him up. So when the show was looking at players who they were going to have on their who they were going to feature, Jakeem Grant was on their list because they didn't think that he was going to get drafted. But Miami goes and picks him up. Now, they liked how hard he played despite all these doubts and just.
Well, his size. I mean, he's so tiny, and usually when you find someone that is that small, there's going to be a lot of doubt. I mean, any player that is smaller in height usually gets a lot of doubt around them. I mean, Zach Thomas, several years ago had a ton of doubt, saying that he could never play in the NFL because he's just not tall enough, and he ended up being one of the best linebackers to ever play for the Dolphins ever. He's in that category.
Right.
So that's awesome that Jakeem Grant's going to be on the show. I love that.
Yeah, if any Dolphin fans want to watch, it'll be on Tuesday next week on NFL Network.
Oh, that's wonderful. I will definitely be tuning into that because I love Jakeem Grant. I want to see him get actually opportunities. unfortunately, the ball gets kicked out of the end zone on kickoff, so he's not getting an opportunity there. Landry's been fielding punts, so he's not getting an opportunity there. I want to see him play. He's exciting.
Yeah, I do too. And it's interesting because since he wasn't invited into the combine, he had to showcase all his skills at Texas Tech's Pro Day. So this was a player that wasn't even given the chance to show all his skills to every single team, because the combine that's where players go and they do different things and they show their skills. He wasn't even given that chance. So I commend him, and I'm very happy that they're featuring him.
That's awesome. And kudos to Jakeem Grant, and hopefully we'll see more of him on the field. I'd love to see the Dolphins get him involved somehow.
Yes,
Maybe,
absolutely.
talk about like a wide receiver screen. He would be good for something like that. He's quick. He's elusive. We need to figure out how to get these playmakers involved.
I definitely think that they shouldn't decide out on him. I definitely think that they should make him more involved in plays, because again, like you said, he's so fast, and since he's so little, he can get in and out of things.
Yeah, he can hide. So all right, that is awesome. And for a non-Dolphin related news, over the weekend, we, as a community in Miami, lost Miami Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez. He was killed in a boating accident. It was an overnight thing. He and some friends were out on a boat. Apparently, the boat hit either a shallow spot or some rocks. And tipped over, and he did not make it.
It's definitely been a very sad week here in to the Miami community, to the Cuban community. Watching that Marlins game was very emotional. It's very nice to see that all the players are wearing his jersey, and it's kind of like they dedicated everything they did in that game to him. And it's just very heartbreaking, because I heard that he had a wife and she was pregnant, so now he has a kid and he's not going to be there in his kid's life, and it's just it's very emotional. The Dolphins took a little time before the game to dedicate to him, to say prayers and have a silent time.
In the Marlins' first game back, one of the most touching moments, I think, it's up there for me in sports, was D. Gordon. He came to the plate, and he's a lefty. He normally bats lefty, but he came to the plate and stood in the box, as a right-handed batter, and he tried to mimic Jose Fernandez's stance in memory of him, and he took a first strike just to honor Fernandez, and so he had to do it. So he stood in the box, he took a strike, and that was for him. Then he walks around to the left side of the plate, his normal stance, and on the next pitch, he hit the longest home run he's ever hit in his life, and that says something. That's chilling. He said after the game, as he's rounding the bases, he's crying as he's rounding the bases, because he's so overcome with what just happened. And after the game, he said he has never hit a ball that far, not even in batting practice.
That's incredible, and it is very chilling. I have goosebumps just hearing about it.
It was beautiful, and in seeing the Met players too. I mean, not only you had the Marlins, but you had the Mets, and I love seeing the league, Major League Baseball, really come out and just support their family members. It shows how tight Major League Baseball is as a family. It's something that I like seeing in sports. I like seeing people come together, and the Marlin community is just been amazing, and I've loved everything that I've been seeing from them, from the ownership all the way down to the players. It's been a beautiful thing in this tragedy, but it shows us the beauty that can be behind the camaraderie in sports. All right, let's move on to our keys to the game versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Keys to the game.
All right, Maya, what's your first key to the game?
Now, I know that we said not everything is on Tannehill, but he is still a very big factor in this game. So my first key to the game against the Bengals is the play consistency. Like I was saying before, there is no rhythm, and yes, a lot of it has to do with the running backs and this whole run by committee, but Tannehill too needs to find his rhythm. Often we see him have a very good drive, and then it's very flat. Or the whole first half will be very flat, and then they'll come out in the second half and be productive. With the Bengals, such a high offensive scoring team, we need to be able to compete with that. You know, if you look at Tannehill's standings in the leagues, like in league rankings, he's very up on some and then very down on others. And that just shows that there's no rhythm with him. So I think that if he can get it together and at least show some consistency in consecutive drives, not just one here and there, we can actually put some points on this board and make the score very respectable.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. And actually, that goes right along with my first key to the game as well, because my first key to the game is running back Kenyon Drake. And I want to see, now obviously it's probably going to be all the running backs, but I really want to see, I think there's a key to Drake in particular, because I think he is going to be the one that can give that spark. We need that spark in the running game to give Tannehill a little more time and hopefully the ability to be consistent, to give a little more play action pass, to hold the defense back a little bit, so the defense doesn't always anticipate a pass. So hopefully I want to see more out of Kenyon Drake, and I want to see the dedication to that run game. All right, what's your second key?
My second key, and this goes along with our entire podcast, is the play of our defensive line. I feel like I sound like a broken record because I think this might be my second or third time stating this as my key to the game. But I'm going to keep saying it until I no longer have to say it as a key to the game. When we're second worst in the league, or like you said, now first worst in the league, this shows something. We need something to change. And, this is a great, even though we won the game, it'd be great to go out to the Bengals and have almost, I dare say it, but a comeback game, something to show and to prove us. Like what the defense did against Seattle, I want to see that again. That this is my key to the game. It's my key to the season. I just want to see a good defensive line.
I agree. Until we stop the running game, does anything else matter? We have to do that. And so, yeah, that's an important key. And you're right. Until they actually step up and do something,
I'm just going to keep on saying it.
It's an important key. Well, going along with that, my second key is going to be the play of Xavier Howard and Byron Maxwell, because we need those two corners. The Bengals have some good receivers.
Yeah, really good.
And they have the ability, and they have a really good quarterback too. So they're going to have the ability to make some plays out there on the sides. Watching their receivers play, that they create very quick separation. So you need tight coverage. I'm curious to see what type of defense we're going to play. If we play off of these receivers, I don't know if we're going to last the first half.
No, I'm hoping that they're going to game plan against that, because when you watch film on the Bengals, you can see that's very obvious that these wide receivers like AJ Green, very quick separation. If you're not completely on him, man-to-man coverage, he will fly by you and you won't even see him.
So we're going to have to play press coverage. Press coverage means, we're right on the line of scrimmage with them. We're putting pressure on them off the line of scrimmage, and we're physical with these receivers. But that's going to mean that Xavier Howard and Maxwell are really on top of their game, because they are going to need to stay step by step for a good 5 seconds with these receivers. Now, 5 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but for a quarterback, that's an eternity. If you have a good 5 to 7 seconds to throw the ball, that's a long time.
Oh, you're blessed.
So our cornerbacks need to hold their ground for 5 to 7 seconds and to get a good push off the line. We need to disrupt the patterns of the receivers, and we have that first 5 yards to do it in. We have to get a good physical contact with the receiver right off the line, throw off their rhythm.
Hey, and what a great way for rookie cornerback Xavier Howard to prove himself to us and to the Miami Dolphins.
It would be awesome to see. All right, so let's take a look around the NFL.
Around the NFL.
Some major news happened earlier today. The Texans placed defensive end J.J. Watt on injury reserve. He had a back injury in the offseason, and he had like multiple surgeries and operations on discs and stuff in the offseason. But on Sunday, he re-injured his back. This is a huge blow, not only to the Texans, but also to the league, because J.J. Watt is such a big player in this league. You know, he's a huge household name. He's like Gronkowski. I mean, they're no longer just players, they're celebrities. And people who don't even watch football know about him. And he's such an amazing player. I honestly think that he makes up the entire Texans teams. I hate to say it, but he kind of does. So I really feel for you, Texans fans. This would be I just really feel for you.
That's tough. It's tough to have somebody like J.J. Watt out because you love to watch him play. You know, he's such a good guy and he's a great player. And yeah, for a long time he has been the Texans team. So you just hate to see somebody like that hurt.
My second news is Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant is awaiting MRI results on his knee injury. He did not practice this Monday, but it is interesting because he did, after having that injury happen, he was out of play, and then he came back and played in the game. So I'm hoping it's not that serious. I think you said maybe he would be out.
Yeah, he can be out anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks. It's not that serious of an injury, but it's something that just requires rest to heal. So hopefully for them it's not going to be too long because they need Dez in there.
Yeah, definitely with Dak Prescott in, he needs this big star wide receiver to make amazing plays to support him.
But it could be up to 3 weeks that he's out.
Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, Eagles, and Ravens. You want to know what they all have in common?
What's that?
They're undefeated.
Ah.
Now, I know. It's only been 3 weeks. But, last season we had we broke a lot of records in the league of having so many undefeated teams. I'm kind of interested to see if we're going to see that again this time. But, yes, they're all undefeated. Something needs to happen. Also, Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham was very entertaining on Sunday. The Giants played the Redskins, and Odell Beckham was matched up with Josh Norman. Now, Josh Norman played for the Carolina Panthers last season, and when they met, they had some very heated moments. Josh Norman got picked up by the Redskins, so now they're going to see each other a lot. And I'm not sure how the Giants feel about this because Odell Beckham cannot control his emotions when he plays Josh Norman. I mean, he was just throwing a hissy fit on the sidelines. I mean, he was like punching the air. He hit a goalpost and it hit him back. I mean, oh my gosh. Ben McAdoo, the head coach, he said that he wants Beckham to have better control over his feelings to become less of a distraction. But interestingly enough, he said that it is the team's coaches and players, like coaches and teammates, responsibility to refocus Beckham's emotions. Now, this makes me feel like he's treating Beckham like a child. He said that it takes a village. I'm not too sure how I feel about this. I understand that Beckham is a household name, but this makes him seem like a diva.
It does. It very much does make him seem like a diva.
It almost seems like Ben McAdoo is enabling Beckham. I'm not sure if that's going to help Odell Beckham control himself.
Probably not. I mean, yeah, if you treat him very childlike, then I think it just will enable more of that behavior. Interestingly enough, Beckham and Landry have, being that they're so close and friends and everything, they have a lot of the same behaviors.
Yes, they do. But Jarvis Landry does not throw a hissy fit and kick goalposts.
No, he doesn't. All of his stuff is on the field.
Yeah.
So it's so far that's been okay. And this will be the last week that the Patriots are playing without Tom Brady. So, this is, if they can pull off this week, even if they don't pull off this week, they were hoping to go 2-2. If they went 2-2 and getting Brady back, they felt they still had a great chance to run the board and do whatever they want. They're 3-0 right now.
I'm so sick of it. So sick of it.
And this week they're playing the Bills. So there's a good chance they're going to be 4-0 and then they get Brady back. It's just New England.
So speaking of this, why don't we go into our picks of the week?
All right, let's do that. All right, so here's our picks for the week.
Picks of the week.
All right, so last week, Maya, we were both 9-7. So we're getting better. There's been a progression.
There is progress, people. There is progress. We are not a hopeless cause.
So, and for the year so far, Maya, you are 23-25,
Woo!
and I am 22-26. So we are neck and neck. We're right there, and we are showing progress week to week.
I like this.
So I'm looking forward to this week's picks.
Colts at Jaguars.
I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts. This is a divisional matchup. Interestingly enough, it's being played at London. This is the first time Indianapolis is flying out at London to play there. The Jacksonville Jaguars are very used to this. This will be their fourth time playing there. But the Jaguars are a mess. They look like a mess. They are a mess. They will continue to be a mess. And I don't feel comfortable with betting them against the Colts. So, yes, Indy has this game.
They, I'm so disappointed in Jacksonville this season. I thought they were going to be a very strong team. I thought they were going to come out strong and really contend in games, and they're just not doing that. And with this long trip over to London, even though it's a home game from Jacksonville, it's a home game across the sea in London, and they will lose to Indy. Indy takes it.
Browns at Redskins.
I might sound crazy, but I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns. The Browns will finally find their win at Washington. Wide receiver Terrell Pryor, he played a really dominant game against us, and I think that he will continue to be very dominant against the Redskins. I'm going with the underdog here.
Well, I think you do sound crazy because Cleveland's going to Washington. Washington is too strong of a team. While I feel for the Cleveland Browns, and I would love for them to get a win just because they are the underdog, and I just feel so bad for them. It's like the movie Sandlot. But I just want them to do well. But they won't. Miami made them look a lot better than they are. They're going into Washington. Washington's playing really well right now, and Washington at home is just going to be way too strong. So Washington takes this game.
Bills at Patriots.
I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. There is no way I am ever betting against the Patriots again. I mean, Bill Belichick could play his dog as quarterback, and they would probably still win. They defy the physics and the laws of football, and I swear, if they lose this game, I'm going to lose my mind. Yes, I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. New England is going to take this game.
Do you hear my frustration?
I do. And it's almost like they're playing in another league. They're playing They're
defying the physics and laws of football.
And they will continue to do that this week as they will easily beat Buffalo. And I say easily, I'm sure Buffalo will give them a little bit of a run in the first quarter, and then after that it'll be done.
Seahawks at Jets.
I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. The Jets are struggling offensively, and even though Russell Wilson suffered a sprained MCL last week, the Seattle's defense didn't suffer an injury, and they will definitely be dominant against the Jets.
I'm going to go with the Jets. And
of course you are.
And here's why. The Jets had red zone issues last time. I mean, how many turnovers did they have?
Like 5?
I think it might have even been more. But they had just one turnover after the other, and a few of those were in the end zone. So they drove down the field, and then Fitzpatrick threw. They were tip passes that then were intercepted in the end zone by the Chiefs. So, but they kept driving the ball. And so, Bowles is going to tighten up the mistakes. Fitzpatrick is going to tighten up his mistakes because he's looking good other than that. And
Yes,
they
against
will,
a very strong defense, he's going to tighten up those mistakes.
they will win this game.
Panthers at Falcons.
I'm going to take Carolina. On paper, the Falcons look like the better team. They have a dominant offense against strong defenses, and while the Panthers are falling short at 1-2, I don't know. I guess I'm just rooting for Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Any given Sunday, the Panthers got this.
Yeah, I've been rooting for Cam Newton too. I don't know. He looks off, and it's been interesting. But this isn't his week. Atlanta's going to take this game at home.
I'm rolling my eyes. I know you guys can't see, but I am rolling my eyes.
This isn't going to be the week Cam puts it all back together. Atlanta's going to be too strong, and they will take it at home.
Lions at Bears.
I guess I'm going with the underdog. There's a theme of me going with the underdog here. I'm going to take Chicago, and I think this is because this is a divisional matchup, right? Anything crazy can happen in a divisional matchup unless you're the Patriots playing the Dolphins. But besides that, anything can happen any given Sunday, right? So I'm saying that the Bears here, week 4, they're taking their first win against the Detroit Lions.
I agree with you.
Oh my gosh, really?
I do.
I was going so strong because I thought you were going to come back and rebuttal me.
I know, I saw that, but I agree with you. I think the Bears at home are going to put together a strong game. Bears typically play really well, in Chicago. So, yeah, they will take this game against Detroit in Chicago.
I'm glad we agree.
Me too.
Titans at Texans.
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. The Texans were completely blown out by the Patriots, and I don't know if it was the Patriots or if it was the Texans, but regardless, they put 0 points on the board. And now that they have basically their star player on defense out on injury reserve, there is no way that they're going to be able to beat the Titans. I don't know how they could possibly do it.
Well, we're going to see them do it. And we're back on opposite ends again because I am going with the Houston Texans. They're going to rely on their running game. Look, a team's not going to be embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. They were embarrassed.
I'm sorry. Wait, did you say a team is not going to be embarrassed 2 weeks in a row? Because you are a Miami Dolphins fan, right?
I am. But we weren't embarrassed by Seattle. We weren't embarrassed by New England. It was looking that way, but we came back.
Say that's the Browns.
The Browns game was embarrassing if you're a fan, but we won that. So, but when you're blown out, they were blown out. They were shut out against New England. Teams will respond against that. And Houston will respond against Tennessee at home.
Raiders at Ravens.
I'm going to go with the undefeated team here. I'm going to go with the Ravens. Right now they're favored by 3.5 points, and again, they're undefeated. I don't have confidence in Derek Carr and the Raiders. Ravens got this.
Well, this is going to be the week where we figure out which one of us knows football better because I'm going with the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
I'm going with the road team coming into Baltimore.
Yeah, you do realize they're flying like halfway across the country, right? To an undefeated team.
They are. But Baltimore is I believe Baltimore is going to let down their guard this week against Oakland. And I believe Oakland's going to come in with a greater fire, a greater intensity, and just do what needs to be done to win this game.
Okay, we'll see.
We will see.
Broncos at Buccaneers.
I swear to God, if you go with Tampa Bay. I'm picking Denver because I can't fathom a situation right now where Tampa Bay, the way that they've been playing, very unbalanced, very messy, very crazy, very winless, basically, against Denver. Denver is the strongest team in the league right now. I mean, they have all the momentum in the world. And yeah, they're playing at Tampa Bay, but really, Denver's taking this.
All right, so I guess we can agree on one game then.
Oh, my
All
God,
right.
you set me up to make it think that you were picking Tampa Bay.
No, I don't. Now, you watch Tampa win this game, but I can't, in all good conscience, pick them. Denver's too strong. Denver wins.
Again, yeah, it's unfathomable.
Cowboys at 49ers.
I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I have a lot of faith in Ezekiel Elliott. You know, every week he's getting stronger and stronger. Dak Prescott's doing amazing behind that O-line, like we said before. The 49ers are just a mess. They have this identity crisis. They don't really know what's going on over there in San Francisco. There's no doubt in my mind. Dallas Cowboys have got this.
And we agree again. Dallas has been improving week after week. Ezekiel Elliott has been running stronger week after week, and Prescott's been looking more and more impressive. So, the coaches are learning how to scheme properly for Prescott and Elliott, and they just look too tough. So Dallas takes this game.
Saints at Chargers.
I feel like I sound like a broken record here because I think I've picked the Saints 4 times in a row now. I have so much faith in them, and they keep letting me down, and it's very upsetting, but I want them to reel in their first win, and I think at San Diego is the perfect place to do it.
Yeah, I think it is the perfect place to do it, but you're going to be disappointed again because they're not going to do it, and San Diego will win at home, and your disappointment will continue.
Don't let me down, Drew Brees.
Rams at Cardinals.
Okay, if you don't pick the Arizona Cardinals, then we have a problem here. Yeah, okay, the Rams are a new team, but they have such a hard schedule coming up, including the Arizona Cardinals, who I believe, like I said before, no, they're not. They're not undefeated, but they're doing really well, regardless.
No, they just got beat by the Bills.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, Rams still aren't taking this. The Cardinals are winning.
Now, the Cardinals will win this game because, yeah, absolutely. I'm with you there because they just got beat by the Bills. They're embarrassed by getting beat by the Bills and how they got beat, and they are going to rebound at home. The Rams are in trouble this week. Arizona is going to take this one.
Chiefs at Steelers.
I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chiefs just came off a very strong defensive win against the Jets, but the Steelers are not the Jets. This is not... Jets got Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Steelers have freaking Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. I mean, KC, I don't think they're just going to be able to do it. They're not the same defensive team that they were last year. So I think Pittsburgh is going to take this one.
Yeah, Pittsburgh at home was just too strong. And as you're saying, Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, when everything's clicking in Pittsburgh, man, they just light it up. And they're a very physical team, too. And I think, if this was at KC, I might be considering something different. But being that it's at Pittsburgh, I just think it's going to be too much for KC to overcome.
I do think it's going to be a close game, though. But that was a deciding factor for me, the fact that it was being played at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because, when you're at that stadium in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh, playing at Pittsburgh is just as much of an advantage to the Steelers as playing at KC is to the Chiefs. So you have that 12th man advantage, and it's a tough place to play. So, yeah, it's going to be too tough. Pittsburgh's going to take it.
Giants at Vikings.
The Giants have emotional issues going on with Odell Beckham. Now, he's not playing Josh Norman with the Vikings, but they are playing an undefeated team, and I think that the Vikings are going to do everything in their power to stay undefeated. They have all the momentum. They're playing at home in Minnesota. Giants don't stand a chance.
Yeah, Minnesota looks good this year.
Surprisingly, who would have thought with the Sam Bradford and Adrian Peterson getting hurt?
Yeah, it's been a really interesting kind of development in Minnesota, but man, that team is really coming together, and I love seeing what they're doing over there, and they're at Minnesota. Giants are just going through stuff.
Aren't they always, though?
So, yeah, traveling out to Minnesota. Minnesota's going to win this game.
Dolphins at Bengals.
All right, Dolphin fans, don't throw pitchforks at me. But I'm I'm sorry. At this point, picking the Dolphins is hurting my personal stats. And okay, so let me explore this because there's a lot to talk about here. The Miami Dolphins haven't looked good. There's been glimmers of hopes, but they haven't looked good. Our defense is a really big problem right now, and we're playing the Bengals, who, with Andy Dalton and AJ Green, put up a lot of points on the board. And if our defense, as they have proven, cannot stop putting points on the board, there's going to be an issue. It's a short week. We have 16 injuries. While some of them are limited, you don't never want to play like that. We got beat up by the Browns. I'm scared that we're going to get shoved and pushed and kicked by the Bengals. So I hate to say it, but I'm going to take the Bengals on this one.
I'm taking the Bengals too. You hate doing that because, of course, I'm going to be sitting there rooting for the Dolphins. That will never stop. But realistically, I have to look at this and say it's a short week. We have a lot of injuries. We have a lot of issues. These issues are not going to get solved in a week. They're not going to get solved in 2 weeks, and they're definitely not going to get solved in a short week playing on a Thursday night. The Bengals are just going to be too strong. We're playing at Cincinnati. So not only is it a short week, but we have to travel. So there's all of these different factors. I think the Dolphins will compete in this game, but I don't think they're going to be able to match the output as far as score. I just don't think they can do that. Our offense tends to stop itself. We don't even need their defense to do that. And then, of course, our defense, I just don't think is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Bengals offense. While we'll make some good plays, we don't have what it takes to win this game, unfortunately. So, Maya, what do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going to say 30-17. I think that the Bengals are going to score 30 plus. But I'm just going to say 30, and then hopefully Dolphins put up at least 17 points on the board.
All right, that's close to what I have. I think the score is going to be 30-20 Bengals. I think, again, we will compete. We'll put up to 20 points. But the Bengals are going to be 10 points ahead of us. And I think it's going to happen early. I think the Bengals are going to score early. We're going to be playing from behind as we've been doing. It's, again, we've had the lack of consistency issues. We've had the lack of the running game. I want to see these things improve. We have defensive line issues. We have linebacker issues. We have, secondary issues. We have issues everywhere. I don't think we're going to solve them all in 1 week. So, hate to say it, but I'm going to be rooting for it, and I will be happy to admit on the next episode that I am wrong if that happens because I want them to win.
Right.
But I just don't see that happening.
If you look at this with a glass half full concept perspective, we win regardless.
We win. We do. So we're going to win either in our stats or in our hearts.
I would much rather win in our hearts, but
me too.
I got to give it to the Bengals.
Final thoughts.
All right, Doll fans. So that's all we have for this week. We're looking forward to the Thursday night matchup against the Bengals, and hopefully, both Maya and I are wrong on our picks, and we will take this game. I would love to come out of this 2-2. That would really give me new hope going into the next quarter of the season. So, as always, please reach out to us if you can. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at Dolphins Fincast on Twitter. That's Dolphins, plural, DOLPHINS, FINCAST. Or you can find us on our website. It's Dolphin, singular, DOLPHIN, dolphinpodcast.com. We're also on Facebook. You can look us up just at Fincast, FINCAST, and you can like our page there as well. But reach out to us, let us know your thoughts. Follow us on Twitter. We'll be, we live tweet throughout the day and throughout the game. So let us know your thoughts, and we'd be glad to address them. And other than that, have a wonderful NFL weekend. Go Dolphins, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.